three, let's go.
Everyone, and welcome to yet another empowering edition of the Vibe Live, a hexalog. The Vibe, that stands for Women Inspire, Build, and Enhance, is a platform dedicated to fostering women's excellence. It brings together women doctors from diverse specialties to share knowledge, leadership experiences, and personal journeys that inspire both growth as well as collaboration. There are four fundamental pillars that form the vibe: physical well being, mental health, financial wisdom, and professional excellence. Through various initiatives like these, the vibe strives to build a strong community of women professionals who uplift one another and redefine the landscape of healthcare leadership. I'm Dr. Ritu Johari, consultant diabetologist and metabolic expert practicing in western suburbs of Mumbai. I have a very unique diverse background with decade and a half spent in pharma industry and last half a decade now practicing diabetes, thyroid and obesity. Besides clinical practice, I also contribute to research and medical writing as co-founder of RFECT, a medical marketing agency. But what brings me most pleasure in sharing is introduction of this exclusive initiative, The Vibe, which is one of its type platform that targets fostering women excellence. I'm blessed to be complimented by my husband, who's an orthopedic surgeon, and our family feels complete with a teen son and a toddler daughter. With that, first of all, let me introduce you to the vibrant woman here, Dr. Archana Sarda, our star speaker for today. And now taking you to our team vibe, Dr. Lotika.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, Archana, to this Vibe Hexalog. I am Dr. Lotika Purohit, a diabetologist and a lifestyle medicine physician practicing in Kolaba, Mumbai since the last 3 decades. I'm part of the National Executive Committee of the Research Society for Study of Diabetology in India, as well as I'm also visiting faculty at the JJ Group of Hospitals, where we do see a lot of patients from various strata of society. I'm also married and partnered by my husband, Dr. Suresh Purohit, who's also the partner of Sugar Doctor, and I'm a mother to an artist and an entrepreneur. And what gives us a lot of happiness is these conversations that we have with star speakers like you on Wednesday afternoons to help us as well as our community to grow and enhance. And we are all very inspired by our speakers. Now I hand over to Dr. Pranjali for her introduction.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lotika. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Dr. Pranjali Shah, Director and Chief Diabetologist at AB Diabetes Clinic. And I also handle internal operations at iHeal, which is headed by my husband, Dr. Kaushal Shah. He is a cornea transplant surgeon. But apart from treating young diabetics and help them live longer and stronger, I believe in prevention. So we do a lot of community awareness camps in central Mumbai. But if you don't see me in my clinic, you will see me on the weekends in Karjat doing farming, hiking, learning in the shelters, helping animals with my boys. So that gives me peace and calmness apart from this chaotic life, which we handle so many operations in the hospitals and all. And definitely this vibe group, whenever we are low and we need like energy, so we connect with each other, and we look forward for the Wednesdays where we learn from you, leaders like you, ma'am. Next, Dr. Rukia, for your introduction.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome to this episode of Vibe. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I'm Dr. Rukia Surya Sheikh. I'm a diabetes, thyroid, and an obesity specialist. I've been practicing in Mulund, Mumbai for a decade and a half. And this journey has taught me that healthcare is not just about treating numbers, it's about understanding people. If I'm not in clinic, I love doing my workouts. I like to play carom and this great company and meaningful conversations that make you think and laugh. Lately, I have started painting, my way of adding little color and calm to the chaos of the daily life. Truly excited to be here today among you, so inspiring women in medicine, to learn, to share, and to grow together. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Over to you, Dr. Kavita.
Namaste, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Namaskar. I'm Dr. Kavita Rane. I practice in Chembur as a diabetes and obesity expert. I'm the director of operations at Rane Hospital in Chembur. I also practice at Apollo Spectra, which is in Deonar. Ma'am, apart from diabetes, I love art and anything that is to do with art, may it be abstract art, visiting art galleries, meeting my friends every week, partying. I love EDM music. I love Wednesday Wives because I get to see all these amazing females and my friends when I need them. So I pick up a call and like, girls, I need you. This is what this gang is about. And I'm so excited to have you here today, ma'am. Over to Dr. Ritu.
Thank you so much. So as you can see, Dr. Archana, we're already all high on energy
Absolutely.
to, to
You
start
are
this entire.
transferring those energies to me as well. Like I love the whole vibe, literally the vibe here.
Oh, love that, love that. So I'm going to quickly put you on the spot and ask you a question. Then, how did you feel when you were invited for the vibe?
Oh, I was thrilled. I mean, I know all of you, and I knew that you'd started something. I did watch a couple of interviews because I saw their posters, and it was very interesting. I didn't think I would be on one of them, but I love the fact that it's women for women and it's very professional, but also beyond profession. So I just love that balance because normally either it's strictly clinical or strictly, kitty party vibe. So I just felt that this was a very nice balance of life and work. Loved it. Thank you so much.
Lovely. That really motivates us because yes, we've always wanted to have a platform where we talk beyond science, beyond prescription, holistic wellness, and I think you're just the right fit for that. So may I just take few minutes to speak on our theme of today for our lovely audience. So, dear audience, sometimes the most powerful journeys are not measured by the miles traveled, but by the lives transformed. And Dr. Archana Sarda is exactly an epitome of this saying. She is a respected diabetologist educator, but a change maker whose work has truly transformed diabetes care through self care and empowerment, and that too in the lives of type 1 diabetics. She is one such inspiring force who's been passionate enough. She's advocate for self-care. She's dedicated her entire career to redefining how type 1s not only survive but actually live qualitatively. So her compassion, her education, her empowerment are truly exemplary. Through Udan, which is her initiative that you will hear about some minutes as well, which is a remarkable model for type 1 diabetes care, she continues to create hope, resilience, and life-changing impact for countless children and families. A true woman leader in healthcare, she's transforming type 1 diabetes care from story of survival, like I said, into a story of strength and empowerment. Truly, ma'am, honored to have you on the Vibe Live. Without a further ado, Kavita, over to you for the first segment.
Thank you so much, Ritu. So, good afternoon, ma'am. Let's move on to the first segment. That's the journey, the woman behind the vision. So, every powerful mission begins with a deeply personal journey. Today, we would love to relive your Udan with you, ma'am. So, please take us back to the beginning. What first inspired your path into diabetology? Was there a defining patient or like a life moment that shaped your purpose in diabetes care?
Mm, yes, there was. Initially, I think I'll be very candid about it. When I finished my MD medicine, I wanted to be a professor. I mean, a teacher, lecturer, professor in the government medical college, working in low resource hospitals. I mean, I was always inclined towards teaching. I loved those evening rounds and that kind of work. But I was also an activist kind of a person. So every other day I was in the dean's office because of some complaint I had made or somebody has complained against me. So it was a very rough residency, as you can imagine. And when I thought I'll become a lecturer, my professors were, to be very honest, and if they ever see this, they're going to kill me. But they said, I'm sure you can manage, you'll be fighting every day. And I never thought of going into private practice. So I always thought I'll be a doctor and I'll teach and treat in a government hospital. But that year there was no post also that came in. And as a result, I said, let me try. So this came a little coincidentally in a way. And then when I thought, what should I practice? I didn't want to do just general medicine. Then I worked and thought about it. And then at that time, like other times, you to say that leprosy is the core of all diseases. By that time, it was diabetes, the NCDs. So this is, I'm talking about 25 years back, 26 years back. And that time, it was not yet the concept of diabetology as such, but NCDs were on the rise. And I felt that self-care education at the grassroots is what is going to tip the pyramid, you know. So with that thought in mind, I chose diabetology, then studied in various places, and then started my practice as a diabetes practitioner. So that's how the diabetes part started. But how Udan started is a totally different story. So I will
We'll get there. We'll get there soon. So, what has been your biggest personal learning in building a life dedicated to healing others?
I think I've learned to heal myself. We see so much pain. We see so much psychosocial, emotional, beyond physical health. We see so many influences. For us, social determinants of health were like public health work on paper. But seeing them in real life, seeing how family dynamics matter, how self-care plays such an important role. So I think my biggest learning on a very selfish note is I've learned to take care of myself, that my personal dynamics, my relationships, my physical health, my mental health, because I realized that if I am fit in every way, psychosocially, emotionally, financially, I can definitely. I was not that kind of a person earlier. So this is something, a change for me. I would not think that my sleep is important or my exercise is important. Because for me, I over glorified work earlier, you know. It's the grandeur of working a lot. I don't have time for exercise. I don't have time. But then I learned along the way, and in my center also, it's called the Center for Diabetes and Self-Care from day one, because that was my focus for patients. But then I learned over the time to focus for myself. So that's my biggest learning.
Amazing. I wouldn't say it's selfish. I think it is self-preservation when you feel for yourself and look at yourself first, which is where the inspiration and the love comes from. You can't give from an empty cup, right? I mean, that's
True.
the
And
rule.
we have to practice what we preach, because when we started doing it, there was more conviction when we are talking to our patients as well. And they listen as well, because they pointedly ask, Madam, aap kab exercise karte hai? Madam, what did you have for lunch? I mean, that is how comfortable they feel. And if the answer is not in sync, then obviously, no matter how many talks and lectures you give, it won't have that kind of influence. So I learned and I changed.
Very true. So, looking back at what would you tell your younger self starting this journey?
My younger self, I would tell myself to follow my heart at every crossroad. Whenever there is a fight between reason and passion, do not get swayed by all the possible reasons for not doing something. Just follow your heart. Close your eyes, if your heart says it's right, just do it. So even if suppose it doesn't work out in the future, but at least you failed doing something you liked. So I think that is something I have been at many crossroads, and there was no one to tell me that. There was always someone to say, okay, don't do this. This is out of the box. You'll fail. But I did it anyway. But I would tell my younger self, don't worry, follow your heart.
That is very powerful, ma'am. Standing up for yourself and what you believe in. There are a whole lot of naysayers all around. They're going to get you down. They're going to pull your ideas, but you have to stand for yourself. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to the next segment with Dr. Ritu.
Wonderful. I think I love the fact that self-care, and I was reading also about you, the way, because you have to practice what you preach. And I was, last episode also we were talking the same thing, especially as doctors, very conveniently we can give advice, but following that is exact test of our character, that how can we ensure that we are also following something, and then we are able to tell them. And sometimes, of course, there was a phase of mine also in my life, and, like small baby and everything, so no exercise. And then when I used to tell the patient, what, that exercise, and I used to like, it used to not come from inside, because I knew that somewhere inside I'm not doing justice to myself, and then I'm, preaching something. So I guess that really makes a lot of difference, that when you're doing something and then you're preaching it, then it comes with more conviction. So my segment is, of course, talking about Quran, about a mission beyond medicine. And I would like to say that, some doctors do treat disease. In fact, that is the reason that we're taught. But some build movements. And Udan is clearly one of the movement, Dr. Sada. Type 1 diabetes care, often emotionally and socially, is more challenging than what we can realize. And I guess Udan is truly a boon for those who need to thrive, survive in limited resource settings, of our country. So my first question is that when you look at type 1, it's not just a disease, right? It is actually a place where, we don't even know how long the child is going to survive, how the child is going to survive. How do we talk about the resources? So what did inspire you for the birth of Udan? And what was the basic gap that you saw to fill in for the type 1 diabetics? How did it all start?
So that is a journey I would love to share, because uh, again, it did not happen by a deliberate design. I think I always say I did not find Udan. Udan founded me, because it just, when I started as a diabetologist, and I did not see any type 1s around. So I was just asking people, where are people living with diabetes? Especially, I'm from Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, which is the capital of Marathwada. And 25 years back, when I'm talking about in 2000, it was still a very low resource setting area. People were still migrating. We didn't have the high-end things. It wasn't even a tier B town, only because of tourism. So the environment was very rural in a way at that time. And when I talked to people, they said, why are you talking about type 1 diabetes? They don't survive, they die. And this is something that the medical community talked about. It's not worth investing in. Every child was on, they said that their survival is not more than 30 years, this, that. So all those things, and internet did not exist at that time. So we didn't know what's happening in this world. But I did know there is someone called Wasim Akram from all the papers, and that time we had
Yes.
newspapers and books and magazines, and I was like,
Yes.
okay, this guy. And that time he used to do publicity for, I think, some glucometer ads and all. So I was like, if a person like Wasim Akram can do this, then why is everyone saying this doesn't happen? I mean, medically we knew, but in this area context. And then one day, these were my thoughts that were going on, and one day one child, 14-year-old girl, was left on my doorstep by her family. She was in bad decay, almost comatose. The father and the mother, because they saw a new clinic, they said, we've been to every doctor, every clinic, every hospital. We have sold our farm, we have sold our gold. We don't have a single penny left. We are leaving her here. And my receptionist was there, and I was inside. They said, there's a new doctor, so she'll probably take care of her. I don't know, because I'd written type 1 diabetes in my board as well. And she said, if she dies, you bury her. And if she lives, you call us. And they ran away. They went away. And I panicked, new person, new clinic, new practice. I just carried her, and I don't have an indoor hospital. I carried her to the nearest hospital. I asked the doctor there, a very senior physician, that can I admit her there? He said, who will pay her fees? I mean, I was also a new doctor. So like, who will pay her fees? I said, I'll take care of it, and I'll take care of her. But I won't do this. I said, I won't do that. I said, okay, sir, I'll do everything. So next 1 week I spent with that girl. And I was her mother, I was a doctor, I was a nurse, I was a cleaner. I used to, and I don't know why I did it. Again, I will not say that I had any glorious any plans or something. It just happened, and I did it. And then, of course, we called her parents. She survived. And that 1 week taught me more type 1 diabetes than my entire earlier training in different places where we had seen successful children, but we had seen them from better resources. So seeing somebody from that background, I learned that she had been more in hospitals than out of hospitals. It broke the family, it broke the society, there was social stigma. What all happened, I mean, I cannot even list out those things. And that day I decided, let me do something about it. So Udan was born in that week with that one girl. And the beginning was very humble, very small, with just one thought that this shouldn't happen to any child. No one deserves this. Just because of lack of resources, there can't be one Wasim Makram and one, Chaya, just because there is no resource. And I said, let's fill this gap. So that's the gap that I felt. If something is not curable in the world, if it is not treatable in the world, that should be, the equity should be global, right? It's not treatable in Mumbai, it's not treatable in London, it's not treatable here. But if somebody somewhere can do so well,
Yeah.
and somebody here is dying just because it doesn't exist, and not just dying, it's a death every day when you live like that. Because you live with discrimination, you live without hope, you live in pain. So that was just a very, very difficult time, but that gave that energy ki kuch karna hai. And that's the birth of Uran.
Wow, it's superb. And I really felt I was visualizing it when you were talking about, you standing at the bedside of Chaya and, going through the entire thing as the mother and the doctor. I think kudos to you to do that. And I think you followed your heart. I think that's what happened, like you said, that.
Yes.
And it's indeed humble of you to say that, because, of course, it takes a lot more than just words to say that, I will do something and then actually do it. A lot of people have dreams, but they don't see the light of the day. So kudos to you. Follow-up question onto that. So, of course, Udan has come a long journey right from then to here now. And you are still passionate. We still see your pictures. We see you're always very innovative with your sessions. Recently, I was also lucky to host one RAM show with you. Then I remember the other day when you had a session and you had two women who were, having diabetes, and they were chatting. So I think we've seen your passion. How do you see Udan and the transformations of Udan touch you deeply, and how has Udan grown from then to now?
So Udan has grown from zero because it comes in a place where there was no medical care.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
first thing is
yes.
today, every single child in the region is now supported by Udan. Anyone who comes to us is unconditionally supported by composite medical care. It's not a compromise. They're on basal bolus insulin. Except insulin pumps, we have everything. So A to Z, we follow the global guidelines. So it's our job to see where it comes from, the funding, etc. But the child receives that care. So medical care is comprehensive. Now, currently, we are supporting 1,600 families, and approximately 10
Wow,
children
it's a
come
big
every
number.
month. Yeah, 1,600 families, and 10 children per month is the new number that we get. That's how we are growing. It took us time to reach a small number, but then the growth became very rapid because it takes time for the word to spread and also our resources. Currently, Udan is in that place, but more than just medical care, it is about education, because I have one belief that everyone can learn. So I have
Yeah.
children with ADHD, I have children with Down syndrome, I have families with absolutely low IQ, or even unwilling to learn. Intelligence may be there, but no willingness. So all the way, but my thought was always that everyone can learn. The onus is on me and my team to create a pathway to teach. So if a child
Right.
doesn't learn, a mother doesn't learn, then we have not found the right way. It can be a visual learner, it can be a doer, it can be a reader, it can be so many ways. So our job to find a path to teach. So second is education, that we are very proud of. But the main transformation that has happened is hope. Because earlier, when everyone did this, but it was not with the hope that they're going to lead a meaningful life. For me, that was the main change that touches me, because medical care would have been somewhere, sometime, someday, maybe late, but would have happened. Education, maybe now today the country has evolved to a certain stage, things are available. But hope and lived experience models. So just to share, my 80% of we have a team of 30. And
Wow.
out of 30, 80% of my team is people living with type 1 diabetes. These are kids who came to me from villages in DKA, and today they are nutritionists, diabetes educators,
Lovely.
they are leaders, they are social workers. So that hope of transformation and real life models is the transformation that is my favorite, what keeps me going and makes me feel good about everything.
Your motivation, your spirit.
Because I learn from them. They're so resilient. I mean, when
Yeah.
I am like in thought and they will say, no, ma'am, we can do this. We'll find a way. This works. This doesn't work. I mean, I learn from them every single day. They have such resilience because they face it every single day.
Wonderful. And indeed, I think we can only, imagine of how they deal with it, because sometimes, of course, we see less type ones, but then, when we see them in comparison to the type twos, it's for a brief period, right? So but when you get into their lives and, the way you're dealing with them, it's a completely different story, because you may feel
Load
grief for a
sources are
minute,
totally
but you
different.
don't want to make that as the main thing about it, right? They have an entire life to live with it. So transforming it and making it their strength, that's truly commendable, ma'am. So with that, like you really said, the education becomes a key, in such scenarios. So comes my last question here. That when you look at, these families, and especially like you said, the first time, of course, when the parents are new parents, newly handling type ones, so they are in a sense of shock, and then, then they graduate, and then they kindly get adopted. But how do you see, empowering this, or, what does true empowerment basically mean to a type 1 diabetes child as well as the family? What does it mean to them by living independently with themselves?
So for me, true empowerment is not having to compromise your dreams. So whatever you wished for before you had type 1 diabetes, and maybe wish for more because now you have a support system when you come to run, but even otherwise, anything, even if your dream was simply to grow up, get married, and have kids, I mean, that is a dream. To be something, to travel, to have fun, whatever it was. Type 1 diabetes did not compromise your dream. So for me, that is true empowerment. And once you have a dream, and I love Dr. Abdul Kalam's words on that, give everyone a dream. When they have a dream, then type 1 diabetes management, self-management just becomes a pathway towards the dream. So getting a good control is not the goal. It is just the steps that take you to your dream. So if that is empowerment, and whether it's parents' dreams, kids' dreams, young people dreams, that drives them, not a normal HbA1c, not a TIR, right? Not these things, these are good for us as clinicians. For them, can I go on a picnic? Can I go on a trek? Can I have a sleepover with friends? As simple as that, So
Love
that
that.
is
Truly
empowerment.
love. I think it's very simple things like, when, for example, even when we say, right, I mean, we have to find happiness in the small things of life. So I guess, what more can we give them to rather, feel that their life is as simple as the boy next door or girl next door, because they can dream as well. So what if they have type 1 diabetes? So I think, yes, that is the time that we should actually look like. And I was reading some of your interviews, like you exactly said, when people used to say that, oh, type 1s, they don't survive, I mean, don't look about them. But I guess that's where we have to move our heads from and, walk towards the fact that don't look at it as a stigma. In fact, they are stronger than you, so stop assuming that they are not going to survive. In fact, their spirit is probably higher than what you hold. So
It's
kudos to
medically
you for the,
possible, right? It's medically
yeah,
possible. I
absolutely.
think the doctors need to believe in it. The caregivers
Yes,
need to believe in it. I think it
absolutely.
transfers. If we really believe it, that belief transfers to them and their families. And of course, it's definitely possible, as we have seen in so many young people.
Wonderful. So inspiring. Thank you so much for answering those so well for me. So we move on to the next segment with Dr. Pranjali.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ritu. So I was like, Kash mera iske baad hota, because it's a treat listening to you, ma'am, always in the conferences and during the live shows also like this. So, ma'am, my next segment is about women hormones and leadership. The show must go on. We know women's health is closely related to metabolic health, but often we don't discuss. We neglect our, symptoms, or we don't take proper diabetes care on time. So, ma'am, my first question to you is: how do hormonal transitions, like from puberty, pregnancy, then PMOS, we have menopauses, impact diabetes management, and what are some early warning signs women should never ignore?
So I think all the spectrum, all the way from puberty onwards, the change of the hormones in the body and that influence. So whether it is appetite, insulin sensitivity, which is the basic root here, then again weight, mood, metabolism itself changes. So across the spectrum, there is a change. And that is why women definitely, I feel as a lady clinician, we can look at these things better and we actually address them beyond knowledge, because then they become specially focused upon. What women should look for, because they should first understand that these are natural, normal uh, passages, right, that will happen throughout life, right? So not to hesitate about them is very important, to make them feel comfortable about it being okay. If you're not feeling okay in that stage, I think is that something we can do. And they
Yeah.
really have to know about talking about their either irregular period or missed period, weight gain or weight loss. If there is fatigue, which they would just think it is because of work, the mood changes that would happen, any skin changes, hair fall, not to consider it always cosmetically, but to think that so many things can be actually coming from a metabolic or a medical background. Simple things like so many women come with tingling sensation and they will just just ignore it. It happens
Yeah.
when I'm tired. So these are a few things that they have to understand, that the changes that they're happening in their body, not to just take it for granted that it's part of, because I was working, I was in the sun, I was next. And at the same time, would like to emphasize that it's very important that it's not a one size fits all. So whatever their bhabhi did or their mother did may not be the same. And hence a regular checkup. I think that's something
That plays a
all
key role.
women should really have. So I call it not going to a doctor for a disease, going for a health checkup. Just go, positive health. Go before you have a problem. And that is something I would insist here for all women.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I think early detection plays a very
Early
important,
detection, yes.
and your body always gives you signals. You
Some
should
signals.
listen to your signals and connect with the doctor.
That's true.
Ma'am, we know that you're doing amazing job, and as a woman leader in healthcare, what challenges had shaped your leadership styles. So it's not easy to continue the show for many years. So you might have faced many challenges. So what does leadership mean to you beyond titles and recognition?
Okay, so the challenges were few were very typical challenges. Being told that you are doing something, why I was told, why are you doing this? It's a thankless job. You will not get outcome. Like there were labels that this is useless. Then I was being told, labeled by the community as a soft doctor, especially by, with all respect, with my male counterparts, that this is your woman's touch, your softness. So you're not a real clinician. So that kind of environment, then this would harm my practice, this would label me. All of these challenges professionally happened, but practically a main challenge was lack of resources. So lack of resources was not only financial, but also human resources.
Yeah.
So living in a small town, not having diabetes educators, not having people who did not understand. I mean, when if I put a child on basal bolus therapy and monitoring, the doctors around would say that, what is this you're doing? Why are you pricking the kids so many times? And so lack of not just, there was lack of acceptance, understanding, why am I doing this? Finally, people came to a conclusion, I'm doing it for publicity. So they said, oh, this is a good publicity stunt. I said, okay, whatever you want to say. I mean, I heard so many things, but we were seeing lives changing. So that went on, and ultimately we built a team. And as I said, 80% of my team comes from people with lived experience. So what did I learn about leadership? For me, leadership is making more leaders. right? So I realized the only way I can lead this team is when they grow. So I learned that from scratch. And in team, we saw to it that there's in-service training, more courses, more empowerment, giving them a goal that tomorrow, if I'm not there, what will you do? Where will you go? So get better, 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 and grow. So for me, because I started from scratch with lack of human resources and everyone grew with us. So for me, it is growth. Creating a lot of leaders is leadership for me.
Super, ma'am. And I would I think Vibe other teams also they will agree to me, ma'am. We should have your lecture in Vibe Connect on team building and how we are supposed to make more leaders. We would like to learn from you, and it's a proper one session on only team building activities, ma'am. Ma'am, my next question to you is. How do you balance compassion with resilience while leading such emotionally demanding work? Ma'am, basically,
I
so I'll
often
give you just brief. We are thinking to start Vibe outreach program since many months, and you need a lot of patience. So, like as I gave my intro, that we are planning to do these programs in Karjat. So we have a small farmhouse, and every weekend we go there, and we want to start something there. So, how did you started one thing? Second, what made you, be consistent in so like 25 years now? So action and how to be consistent in this, ma'am. So that I wanted your opinion.
Um, I think first of all about sympathy, empathy, resilience. It's not always there. I break down. I break down very often because it's not a dream that is non-tangible. It's a human being you see there, and when you don't see outcomes in spite of best of effort, and that is a life being affected, then it hurts and it hurts badly. So even after 25 years, I cannot tell you that I am there in the sense of total resilience and it doesn't hurt. It hurts badly. But I think it's okay to hurt because it makes us go on. It makes us want to do more. And how I actually manage is I have a very good compartmentalization. I'm very good at that. So I have learned, I have like 100 boxes in my head, and when I'm talking to you, there's absolutely nothing on my mind except all five of you in this forum. So that helps to keep all the boxes in their place and not to spill over and not to break down. Um, Otherwise, I don't think it would have been possible. You have to raise your own family, your own career, your own work, and then the emotions and the resilience. So feeling the pain is very important, being able to compartmentalize it and using it as a driving force. So for me and my biological kids, and everyone makes fun of me for that, you don't tell Archana anything, she will make a project out of it. So for me, if I see a girl who's depressed, then my next thought is, okay, when I am upset that she's depressed, but next thought is, how do we analyze it? How do we check? How do we get the next team there? How do we get next 10 girls? How do we address their so every challenge gets converted into a playbook or some pathway which could work. So that's how it gets going, and that's why it never stopped. In fact, our job is not done. So 25 years, the only reason we didn't stop is we never felt that we are there. I mean, I never feel even today there is, I don't won't call it success because there's lots and lots to do. So one thing happens, it gets solved, another problem comes up. That gets solved, another comes up. So you're just moving over time.
Ma'am, but
And
this is amazing. Like at least you see the problem and then you're
yes.
starting and working on it. So that's
Yes. That is something I would like to say, that every problem we feel, we don't just leave it there. We explore it to the end of the world. I don't know, when I talked to some of my MBA friends, they said, you're following this method. I said, I have no clue what this method means. I don't know your jargon. I know this is what I do. I make my own graphs. I will do all kinds of scales and then find out some pathway. Because the aim is to find a solution for a larger number of people. Assuming that this is happening with me as a woman, then it must be happening with hundreds of others as well. So with that thought, converting it into a process is what works. And that's how it lasted till day.
amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much for your all insights. And over to you, Dr. Lotika, for the next segment.
This has been so insightful, hearing about all the challenges that you have faced. So this segment is about the future of diabetes care, availability versus affordability. We know that future of diabetes care is not just treatment, it is transformation. However, the ground reality is availability and is also subject to affordability, especially when it comes to a larger population in our country. So, what excites you about the future of type 1 diabetes care? How are technology and CGMs changing lives?
So two things excite me. One is accessibility and availability and affordability through the government sector, because I don't see how this can happen unless it comes at the government pipeline. So very recently, we have had the new NCD and RBSK guidelines for type 1 diabetes. And hopefully this will translate into more and more states putting it in the state health program. And that was a dream I had when I started 25 years ago. And hopefully this year, I'm hoping the dream will come true. The first of our government clinic collaboration with Udan is happening in Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar in the Government Medical College. So the first type 1 clinic is starting this month. So that is the first step. But hopefully this will happen in every district of Maharashtra at least, and ultimately the entire country. It does exist in some of the states. So one, I believe very, very strongly that it is the job of the 20% taxpayers to take care of the 80% non-taxpayers. It has to be that equity. There's no choice to that. And it has to come through the government system, because there's no other way we can reach the last mile. So empowering, enabling, collaborating with the government systems to make them strong is something I totally believe in. Secondly, from technology point of view, is something again more than CGM, because we work a lot with CGM, and CGM also needs the willingness to do, as well as the capability of taking decisions once you have put a CGM. So the technology, I think, which is really making a difference is the pumps, the semi-hybrid closed loop pump. I know there's a difference and it's really expensive, but if I have to dream, then why? All my dreams have so far come true. So I am willing to dream even bigger, that it would be, because the least resourced person, the least literate person, is the one who needs that automated pump the most, because they're not capable of taking decisions and carb counting. And they are the ones who are going to benefit, because their TIR without any effort will come up to like at least 60% and so, and will change lives. So my belief is that the pyramid is like this, and people with money are able to have it, and the bottom, while it should be absolutely the reverse. It is all the people who can't afford, can't understand, have low literacy, who needs it. So how will that dream come true? I'm sure it will. And that is a game changer. CGMS, of course, is a great game changer as a technology for people willing and capable. But next to that is that, and of course, today now we have cure, not really cure, but functional cure. We have had the transplant with the new immunosuppressant, which was safe. And also we've had non-immunosuppressant requiring technology for the islet cells. So both have been successful. 6 months of successful outcomes have been there. So I hope big, I hope finally for a cure, which now seems real. Not very soon, but it seems real. I'm really hopeful that's going to happen. Next is, of course, the pumps, which again is possible if we have a noise level enough. If it took us 25 years to get basal bolus insulin, we may as well pitch in and ask for the pump, because that's going to really change lives effectively, not just treat, but change. So that's where I see this happening. Maybe 5 years from now, we'll say it has happened.
Well, that's really very nice. So do you believe India is ready for the more patient-led diabetes self-management? And how do you see the gap between the availability of tech advancements versus affordability from the rural-urban lens?
So I feel we are very much ready for patient-led activity. What we are not ready is our medical community is not ready. Again, very apologetic for being candid here, because to accept people with lived experience as self-sufficient and capable of leading their own community medically is something which yet old school doctors, of course, they need medical guidance, they need
Mm.
treatment. No
Mm.
doubt about that. They need a consultation. They're not doctors. But giving them that institutionalized space is something that we need to evolve as clinicians. And believe me, outcomes become hundredfold when you have a person with lived experience in a leadership position. So I would attribute the success in last 5, 7 years in Udan, the exponential success, only because our team has lived experience. So the empathy, the motivation, along, you can give all the supplies in the world. I have billionaire kids who won't do it. On a pump, they have a TIR of 40, 50 because they will switch off the alarm, will not bother. So the motivation,
Yeah.
the empathy, the learning, the lived experience makes a huge difference. So I think we are ready now, urban as well as rural, right? And but I feel the gap there is not technology, because you can achieve something with or without technology. With technology, happy to have that, but you can even achieve it without technology. But you cannot achieve it without motivation and education. So these two things are essential with or without technology. And that is something our clinicians need to focus upon. So I feel the biggest challenge is our own community prioritizing it as important as insulin, as important as technology, and institutionalizing lived experience in our clinics. I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What is your vision for Udan over the next decade?
Oh, wow. 10 years. First vision is that we won't need Udan. So I don't think any health organization feels that their success is that they're not needed. If tomorrow government district clinics become so state of art and capable that not just medical care, but there is lived experience coaches there, and great care is available, then we will not be needed. And I wish everything comes into the government system and I can move on to some other, I can go to the Himalayas or something. So that will be my ideal goal. But other than that, I see being a mentor now. 25 years, we have done a lot of work. We have failed, reinvented, again made something. So why ask people to reinvent the wheel? So I see in 10 years mentoring anyone and everyone across the country to take all our resources, use them, use our learning, use our training. We'll be happy to train. Anyone who has a vision, desire to do something, we are there to give you a starting point so don't have to go back and struggle like us. So that's where I see next 10 years in a role of, and also as a role of you doing all this with people with lived experience. So these are the two goals: getting it in the government setup, mentoring people who ever need it, and getting lived
Yeah.
experience people into every stream of work.
Hmm. Wow, it's really, really very inspiring, and I hope your vision does come true and we live to see that kind of level of care and support that every person with type 1, especially type 1, type 2 also needs care, but type 1 is a different, it requires different levels of support, which you have been providing, and I hope that probably at a government level, it is able to be provided for the people that need it the most. With this, I hand over to Dr. Rukaiya for the next segment.
Yes. Ma'am, it's been so wonderful to hear you. You come across so calm and so peaceful and so quiet. And it is just so difficult to imagine you when you said in the start that you are such an activist. Okay. You just sound so like, okay,
Oh, I've
I'm
learned.
just
It's
I
the
can't
gray
imagine
hairs.
Dr. Sarda with those andolans kind of thing.
Oh yes, believe me, I have been there.
It
Ask all
just
my
is
friends. Always
uh,
say, do you still fight? Are you still fighting? I mean,
and it is somebody talking to you even after this 45 minutes of conversation. I can't imagine you ever fighting with anyone.
I do fight. The way of fighting has changed because
Yeah.
when I was younger, the fights were loud with morche and complaints. I don't think health ministry has received letters, more letters than from anyone except me. मतलब इतने मैंने from health minister, finance minister, किस किस को चिट्ठियां नहीं लिखी हैं. All kinds of things I've done. But now I'm smarter, I think, wiser, smarter. Probably I've learned from the system that I choose my battles and
Hmm.
find a way, find a winning battle, do not waste energy on the losing battles. So all that has channelized the energy, but yes, we still fight, only very gently now.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. I think that is something that I want to learn, being gentle, because I'm otherwise the loud one, the
Mhm.
one who speaks too harsh and, speaks like the spade is a spade. So it's just that I think I need to learn that. Yes. So, ma'am, this segment is about the audience ask, and uh, while this session is going on live, we have audience putting up their questions. And the first question is that what advice would you give to women doctors who are aspiring to lead with impact?
So one, be really good at what you do. I mean, there's no compromising in being, if you're a clinician, be a damn good clinician. So there's no compromising that aspect of it. Then second is follow your heart. As I said, and third is choose your battles. Just do not have to answer every Tom, Dick, Harry, and every problem that crops up. Just choose your battles and stick to them.
Wow. Hmm. Wonderful. And ma'am, how do you see the difference of treatment for a type 1 diabetic in an urban area and a rural area?
So I think in urban area, at least the medical care is good and it is scientifically updated. In rural areas and in urban areas, they still lack, in many places, they lack psychosocial support systems and peer group support systems, although everything is getting better now. But yet it is not a very well-established system that there is a referral pathway that this person will be referred or will be connected to a peer group. It is not seen as a part of the treatment. But they do have access to the best of science, investigations, technology, and that part usually goes very well. But in rural areas, it's not just not being able to afford it, it's the doctors are not aware. So major lack is the clinicians. Again got better. I mean, today versus 25 years ago, there's a big difference, but it's still not there. I mean, I
Right.
still get prescriptions of premixed insulin. So if the doctor doesn't tell them, and when the doctor tells the first time diagnosed type 1, oh my God, your life is going to be horrible.
Hmm.
Then what next step? So I think the
Yes.
limitation in rural areas is still healthcare providers limitation. So when
Hmm.
that gets sorted, then the hope comes from so being affording or not affording is still a secondary thing. Primary care itself is lacking.
Right.
So we have to work on that.
Yeah. I'm
Early
so really so.
detection.
Last week, my daughter's classmate, he got diagnosed with type 1 diabetic. And so, admitted to a tertiary care center and, given the best of treatment. I was out of town, and when, they were like, okay, now we are out of the hospital and we need to see you. What was missing with that treatment? Yes, they came back, the ketones are negative, the child is stable, the empathy.
Mm.
The hand holding, I think, which a type 1 family needs first, then the child, first trying to accept that this is the diagnosis. Because at the end of it, also, the doctor had told them that, maybe it is type 1 diabetic,
Oh.
and, we'll see about it later. So, which was it was so shocking for me that, just telling them that, I know it's difficult, but to put across in a way that they finally accepted that this is how it is, because otherwise they keep on going to somewhere where they would find treatment for it. The cure is what they want.
So I put it very vocally and sometimes a little aggressively. That's one thing I say everywhere, is that if you have even one person, if one patient, say if in your clinic who's going to be of type 1, then you better have a whole ecosystem, even if it's for one patient. Or you find where does an ecosystem exist and say,
Right.
okay, I will not treat, that's okay. I
Yes.
understand that every person will not have the bandwidth of doing this 360-degree care. We have so many,
Yes.
but then just find the nearest place near you and send the
Right.
person there. Do
Right.
not compromise, do not give a substandard care, right? Just find
Yes.
something is available somewhere.
I think with type 2 it is easier. You can prescribe and let them go, and they
Mm.
they will still be doing things. But with a type 1, I think that whole empathy, hand-holdingness, giving them questions, the
Education
answers, and making them part of the peer group.
is
You
very
know, it's
important.
very important that, because they do hitch in asking the doctors because they find it's too silly to ask the doctor,
They
but they're
hesitate.
comfortable asking to their peers. I think I saw that wonderfully because there was this marathon DRS had organized, a
Yes.
2 kilometer run, and your your people from Udan had come for that run, the boys. So they said, "Hum raat ko aaye hain." We came in the bus. They were all over there, and it was so wonderful with each one of them connecting with each other. And they were all like, "Okay, yeah, it's time for a snack. Did we take this? Did we hydrate ourselves? Because we were running." And it was just so wonderful. It felt like, okay, they're just doing exactly, rather we forgot to hydrate, but they
They would
knew
not.
what they had to do so that they are absolutely safe. So I think it's all because of your teachings and that support which is gone a long way. Wonderful,
Now
ma'am.
it's not me, now it's everyone for everyone. It's not
I'm
just me.
sure like
So
you're creating
that
more leaders.
that
I
makes
see
a big
that.
divide. So that
Yes,
helps.
yes.
Yes.
So, ma'am, now this is the last segment, which we
Okay.
call as the rapid fire, the pulse of life, where we are switching gears and it's lightening it up. Where I'm going to ask you I need very quick answers to the questions which I asked you, which are very instinctive and honest. So let's start. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
So, Dr. Archana Sada,
Okay.
tea or coffee during a busy clinic day?
Black coffee.
Okay. Mhm.
Totally a coffee lover.
Okay. One thing diabetes taught you personally.
Self-care.
Okay, nice. If Udan had a theme song, what would it be?
Okay. It would be something, what was it? From Dangal, that, and something we can do it kind of song. I don't know
Yeah.
it, but
Hmm. Early riser or a night thinker?
very early riser.
Oh, okay. Why do people who all
Everything.
do this self-care get into early rising? Is it a changed habit or is it from the start? The
Yes,
5 a.m.
it's
club
changed. I mean,
starts later.
residency or early years, of course, it was late nights when kids were small and all. But I don't know, it's very energizing to be up early. I run, so early mornings are for running. Everything happens better early morning. Nights are
Oh,
unpredictable. Anyone can drop in and trouble and too many people around. So noiseless mornings.
okay, wonderful. One word that defines leadership.
Making other leaders. I don't
Okay,
know which word, or I would call it enabling, being an enabling
enabling.
leader,
Mhm.
enabling others.
If not a diabetologist, what would it be?
I will be a teacher, primary
Oh,
school teacher in a village.
okay.
जिला परिषद प्राइमरी विद्यालय की टीचर होती मैं.
हेड मिस्टर आप तब तक हेड मिनिस्ट्रेस हो गई
हाँ, अब
होती।
तो शायद पता नहीं क्या हो गई होती, रिटायर भी हो गई होती, पर होती वही गांव में टीचर होती,
हाँ ना।
बोर्ड पे लिख रही होती, रंगोली बना रही होती. आई वुड लव टू डू दैट नाउ आल्सो.
One app you can't live without.
I'm not a great app person. No app.
WhatsApp, Instagram,
Happy to live
LinkedIn.
without them.
Sorry,
I love not living with them. No app
okay.
that I feel needed.
Udan has an app, ma'am.
Udan has a dose calculator app and all
Okay,
those, but
wonderful. Great.
I love being without technology.
Yeah. The smartest life hack you swear by.
Is choosing your battles. Just not engaging in things which you don't value. इस कान से सुनो, इस कान से निकाल दो, बीच में रोकना ही नहीं है कुछ.
मैं ये लिख के रखने वाली हूँ. Not
सुनो सबकी,
engaging.
बिल्कुल नो एंगेजमेंट. सुनो सबकी, करो मन की. Do not engage. Just not. Smile, smile, smile. Don't engage in any thoughts which take away your energy.
Wonderful. Your superpower as a doctor.
I feel I can be in the boots of my patients.
In the?
So in the boots of, in the shoes, in their shoes.
Okay,
So when
yeah.
they are there, I am them. I am part of their family. And I think that makes a difference. So I can think from the patient's perspective, not just as a doctor, but I can also think from their angle. I think that is my strength, which helps me make the right decision. So I know it sounds very lofty, but I do think like that. If a patient is in front of me, I'll say, what if this was my mom? What if this was my sister? So it's not something I think outright, but core, I have trained that how would I prescribe them? Of course, scientifically right always, but that I think has been the superpower in getting things right.
And I also think you're a wonderful listener.
I like to listen. I don't know about wonderful, but I like to listen. I love to listen and
Absorb it.
absorb, and I love to see what people are like and how different they are. How does their mind work? It's very interesting.
Wonderful. Ma'am, the last question. One thing people would be surprised to know about you.
Okay, so I love all the art forms. Okay, I'm a great art. So I've started art groups. I do a open mic. So many things, like from all kinds of, from classical music to classical dance to painting to even these weaves, everything. And
Wow.
at the same time, I am exceptionally bad at all of them. I can't sing a note. I cannot. I have two left feet. I cannot paint. मतलब I don't think दुनिया में कोई मेरे से बुरा होगा as an artist, but I
Ma'am, कोई
love
बुरा नहीं
art
होता है.
so much. I do so much of art activities, attend so much. I travel from here to Mumbai to see plays. I mean, that level of engagement in art with zero skill, zero skill. I
Ma'am,
mean,
how does it get you attracted then?
I don't know. Maybe because that's what I don't have. So it's just, but art is for me my another leg of life.
No. So my husband is a pathetic singer. He can't sing forever, but he loves Indian Idol. I said, तुम्हें लग रहा है कि सुन सुन के भी मैं ऐसा गाने लगूंगा, but ऐसा नहीं
Oh,
होने वाला है.
I used to dream like that. मैं रात को सोती थी and सुबह गाने की कोशिश करती थी. I used to think कि आज रात में सब कुछ magical हो जाएगा and मेरी आवाज
Yeah.
अच्छी हो जाएगी.
Yes.
And it just didn't happen. I mean, I tried it so many times कि सुबह उठ के जादू हो जाएगा.
Yeah.
Just didn't happen. But I still love music. I mean, I can discern classical notes. I can understand to that level. So this
Yeah.
works, but this
Yes,
doesn't.
yes. He can tell me,
Zero.
his this pitch is not proper, everything. But I
I
said,
can
I'm
do that.
enjoying the show. I said, you are getting into the details of it.
But I can't for the life of me do any of these things.
This is actually a surprise for us to know that you love art so much.
I do.
Yes. It was all absolutely so sharp, sincere, and so authentic, just as Vibe stands for. Ma'am, it's been so wonderful to hear from you. Over to you, Ritu, for the closing.
So I have so much to say on everything, but I'm trying to curb myself. But one thing I can definitely say that, I really feel, Dr. Archana, that you are a very artistic person. I think art art has no boundaries and no form. Actually, we call it art, it would be singing, dancing, or whatsoever. And I still remember, and I still get, notes for that because I speak so much and I have so many gestures. I think art is something which can be in any form in you. And I think in you, art comes in the form of passion. Art comes in the form of resilience. Art comes even in the way you conduct yourself. I really cannot say you fail at art. I think you're a very artistic
So I will
person.
go
The way
back with a
you
new
dress up,
definition of art.
I'm telling you, the way you dress up, the way you walk through, I think that is art. And that's what probably draws you to art as well. With that, we generally have this small ritual that we always talk about what we learned from, the wise words that we heard from you or our star speakers. So may I just start with the Lotika, Dr. Lotika. What's your pearls of learning today?
So yeah, it was really amazing to hear you, Archana. And there's so many take-home messages. But what resonates with me is making more leaders and make your team grow, because I think that's very important. And also what I liked was every challenge gets converted into a project. That's so nice, because most of the times we kind of overlook challenges and say, okay, let it be. But you really work to get a solution of that. And besides that, of course, suno sabki and karo apni. That is so nice. So, yeah, now
Move on to Pranjali.
Pranjali.
Yeah, so there's so many, as Lotika ma'am said, there's so many takeaways. But ma'am, on behalf of Vibe, we'll be the first one to come to you and for the Vibe outreach program, which you said you want to help us. So definitely we'll contact you soon because we are planning, but we are unable to start the project. It's been like more than 2 months, but we are
We'll be
stuck
happy to.
somewhere, I don't know. So definitely we'll come back and we'll contact you for the
Please,
same.
please, please. I would invite
And
you to visit Turan for that. Be with us for
yes,
some
ma'am, we would
time.
definitely come
Yeah.
and we want to have your guidance for the same, ma'am. And
Please.
as said, key making more leaders and choosing your battles. That is the today's learning for me. And contacting you soon for the Vibe outreach. That is my first takeaway and guidance for that, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, over to you, Kavita, for the your inputs.
Thanks, Dr. Pranjali. So, ma'am, thank you so much for spending this time with us and inspiring all of us. What my take home message has been is what I learned from you saying health equity for everyone. You know, it is equal for everyone. It shouldn't be कि आपके पास पैसा है, आपके पास नहीं है, तो you know, who decides that they get the treatment or they don't get? That's not right. And that's what humanism actually means. Humanity is. And I love that about what you said. And the other thing was true empowerment is not compromising on your dreams. So I'm going to pick that up and utilize it in my day-to-day practice. Thank you so much. Now over to Dr. Rukia.
Ma'am, so much. You know, it's just been so wonderful. This is so candid to have been speaking, to know about you, to know more about the work that you do, and, you know, the challenges that you have also faced and gracefully accepted it and learned from it and moved ahead. So, the first thing is about self-care is very important. So, I think that is one thing. Also, follow your heart at the crossroads when you are and do not get swayed away. So, I think those are, and hope is the most important thing when you are treating your patients. So, that is extremely important. And last but not the least, not engaging in thoughts that take your energy.
Bilkul.
You know?
Thoughts
Super,
or
super.
people.
Yes,
Yeah, not
absolutely.
engaging in thoughts or with people.
Or
I
people.
think you just take the thoughts, it doesn't matter than the people.
In fact, I mean, beautiful thoughts, and I think everybody has already collated all of it. But I would just say, two things. One is that, when I was small, so all my family members used to say, "तू सबका सुनती है ही करती करती वही जो तुझे करना है." But I'm glad today I have somebody who says that that's how the life has to be. So thank you, Dr. Archana, for that. Because if you are convinced with something, then you can lead it more passionately, and you have to just have the purest of intent, which I think that you have, and you really have a child's heart, transparent, true, candid, lovely. I don't know how many adjectives. I can't complete that in one probably day also. And the other thing which I also want to say is that, I love the way you say, put yourself in patient's boots. And I generally do that. Again, I don't know how it is like this, but sometimes, I feel that earlier I used to feel that I'm probably paranoid because every time somebody used to come, what if this was my father? What if this was my mother? What if this was my brother? And I used to feel, am I sick? Why do I feel this all the time? I mean, it's okay. You don't have to cross the bridge all the time and think that, oh my God, become the sympathy queen or something. But I guess, yes, it gives you a definite different edge. And especially I see that happening with my own husband sitting in the same clinic or maybe conversing with the same patient. When the patient is more leaning towards me just because of this empathetic side of me, that I'm able to give them because of this emotional equation or the quotient or EQ, which, women are highly equipped with. So thank you so much for inspiring us with that. And we had absolute fun in conversing
I
with
enjoyed it.
you.
Totally.
Ma'am, one more thing. You are invited on 6th of June. We have a Vibe Art Connect. So
Okay.
since you love art,
I love art. So you will have one very interested audience, as an absolute engaged audience.
It's actually creative ASAP, and please, we would love to have you there as well. So now coming to the end, we have a signature sign off with our, with our this kind of a signature. This is basically two V's coming together as W. W can be V, W can be women, and W is for vibe as well. Yeah, W is for wealth as well. So W is for a lot of things. So we have this, and we say at the count of three, be the vibe. So we go 3, 2, 1.
Be
Be
the
Be the
vibe.
vibe. Thank you so
Thank
much, Dr.
you.
Archana.
Thank
It's a
you,
brilliant.
ma'am.
Truly
So,
enjoyed
you,
being with
ma'am.
you. I really felt we were sitting in a lounge and chatting. And
any
Yeah.
so
closing
thank you
thoughts
for
you
not
have?
grilling me.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
time.
Closing thoughts you have that you want to say
Thank
to us?
you.
Any parting statements you want to make for us?
I think I would just like to say be the best version of your own self and don't worry too much. Life is just beautiful. Enjoy every moment. Do as much as you can. Leave the rest.
Mm.
I mean, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
That's the
You
easiest.
know
That's
what
the
you said
simplest way.
what you said is so true. I mean, life is so uncertain.
Uncertain.
I
Absolutely.
don't know if you heard about Dr.
I heard.
Parthakar's wife, and yeah, it
Life
is
is
really, really
uncertain.
tragic.
Every moment, just I hope we are all
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
recording now.
So,
But I would like to close on the notes that I have seen the quirky side, the Andolan side of Dr. Archana, and I truly love that. So please keep that up. And with that, have a great week ahead, man. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank